What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Bronx Pinstripe Show. Scott, doing a podcast about a team that is this much of a dumpster fire reveals a lot about your character. We really have to, this is going to show who we are as people, as professionals. We got to show up the next day. It's the only thing we can do. There's no other option to just show up and talk about the 2023 Yankees.
So, Andrew, how has it revealed character? Specifically, what character has been revealed? I don't know. Character about Logan. Is Logan's character in jeopardy at this point? The
Logan
fact that
said
he's
something.
he's now reduced to this one canned answer that he has for all of their questions about how the season's going is pretty hilarious, because he's just saying the same thing over and over again in a different way and never offering any solutions, never ever offering anything different where they're trying to
because there are no solutions. They just have to show up, just keep grinding,
say something different. Maybe you should try.
Well, so I thought when he said on Saturday that Boone, we're talking about, by the way, if you couldn't guess, when he said Saturday before the game, he thinks the turnaround is coming.
Right.
I think reporters needed to press him. Not one reporter asked him what baseball things he's seeing to make him think the turnaround is coming. And not one reporter said, turnaround to what? Because what is this team that they're going to be turning around into? Obviously, they're not a team that would lose every day of a season. They've was it eight game losing streak, first time in however many years.
8-game losing streak.
Obviously, no baseball team.
Crunchiest time. The most important, pivotal,
crunchiest of crunch time.
The crunchiest of times.
So, obviously, no baseball team in history loses every single day of a season. But they're playing 400 baseball over the past 2 months. So what are they turning around into? I was a little annoyed that not one reporter asked him either of those two questions, because all Boone fell back on was, we have no choice but to turn it around. So that's why you think you're turning it around, because you're due? You guys think you guys are due?
Yesterday they tried to drill in a little bit further, which is a really it's a futile process. It's a futile thing to do at this point. But what he went to now is like, we can't even think about that. I can't even think about that. I can't even think about what we're going to become.
Win tomorrow.
We just got to do tomorrow.
Just win tomorrow.
It starts with that. So there's an answer. There's a dumb canned answer for all of these things. So I place no blame on the beat reporters, because at this point I don't really know what they're supposed to do, because you're getting.
I would have asked.
You're asking a monkey a question, and then he dances.
And then
you
have to ask the question. You don't have to get the answer, because the answer is not up to the reporter, but is the reporter's job to ask the question. So reporters in that room should have said, what baseball things on the field are you seeing that makes you think the turnaround is coming? Because I would have loved to hear him say anything.
Oh, well, I think we're getting some good pitches. We're just not capitalizing on those pitches. We had some good things to hit. We had some good pitches to hit, but we're just not capitalizing on those moments. He did say that.
And then the number two question that has to be asked is, turn around to what? Because what is this team?
Can't think about that right now. Got to just focus on tomorrow. Got to win tomorrow, and then we'll figure the rest of it out.
So
got to come in every day like we're gonna win, like it's expected,
like
to
professionals, win. Like professionals doing the work, showing up, even though
we're like sick animals.
Hold on,
we're like a sick animal, like a wounded animal. Okay, where we go into the woods, we bury ourselves in leaves and die. Because that's a lot of times what they do. They isolate themselves. Sick animals isolate themselves, okay? And then they die.
Mm-hmm.
That's why if anybody here has a dog and their dog is not well, or their dog is hiding
why
somewhere.
Why you got to bring dogs into this?
Because it's one of those things you have to look at. If they're hiding, you have to go find them and help them, because that's the natural instinct of the animal. People think that dogs are humans. I think the same thing. My dog, Maddie's a person, but she's actually a dog, and they do that. All right. And sometimes it's that we've crossed over, and it's hard to remember it. But his analogy to sick animals was stupid. Okay. It was really dumb. Dumb response.
So like,
and he was like proud of himself in the moment. He's like, sick animals. Yeah. Sick animals, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're an idiot.
well, it's
dude.
funny because he was talking about how this team keeps showing up, even though Aaron Judge said, in a different sense, we just need to show up. We're not showing up. So I guess that what they're pointing at is early June, when this team was 10 games over 500. And that was after that Dodgers series. Now, unfortunately, that also coincided with Judge going on the IL, and that was the beginning of the end right there. But they were 10 games over 500 at that point in the season. So if we call that the best version of this team, that is a 562 winning percentage over a season long. So if they play 562 ball from here on out, they would finish with a grand total of 82 wins, okay? In order to do that, that means they're barely above 500, but in order for that to be good enough to make the playoffs, which it will not be, the Mariners would have to go 12-25, the Blue Jays 12-25, Boston 15-23, and Houston 11-26. And then the Yankees can make the playoffs if they play the best version of themselves for the remainder of the season. So the season is over. We all knew the season is over, but I just figured I needed to lay out some math for the nerds out there listening, why the season is officially over. The cherry on top of the debauchery this weekend was Aaron Boone's closed-door team meeting after Friday's whooping.
Yeah.
And then they asked Garrett Cole.
This is like one of those little hidden nuggets. If you're not watching post game, if you're not actually listening and paying attention, you wouldn't have heard this. And I'm surprised it hasn't come up more. But yeah, the Garrett Cole comment. So what was your reaction?
Garrett Cole was asked what he thought about the closed door team meeting, what his reaction was, and he paused and goes, I wasn't there. I left early.
Did you see his facial reaction? He's like, oh man, I got caught in this. Like, this isn't gonna look good. He wasn't there. He had already left the stadium, and Aaron Boone decides to have a closed door, do one for the Gipper, accountability meeting for the whole team without one of their two best players on the team, one of their leaders. Okay. Does this when he's not there. Okay, fine. You have a day game the next day. Sometimes guys leave early.
Well, he's pitching the next day, so he definitely was leaving early. I'm not faulting Garrett Cole for leaving early. That happens all the
Garrett
time
Cole
when you've got a day game after a night game.
Yeah.
The fact that Boone decided to pick that moment when his pitcher the next day, who the game is most reliant upon, also happens to be your best pitcher, and one of the two players, the only two good players on this team, is not even there. That's the moment you picked to have the rah-rah, let's go, win one for the Gipper, is just so completely out of touch and misguided and stupid. And that's what Aaron Boone is.
He really is, man. I've never heard of such a thing. You know, when you have a big team meeting, if there's a low point in morale, which I'd say we're there. If there's a low point in morale and you're trying to get people motivated, you're trying to get a message across to the full team, right? The full roster. If you don't have this is like a general walking out to battle without his lieutenant there and telling them the game plan and talking to them and making sure that their support is there and vocal and very, very much in front of the players. He does it without Garrett Cole, who's the veteran leader on this team. He's the veteran. He's that guy. And yes, he's pitching the next day. So he's walking in the next day, getting ready to, do his routine, go to the bullpen. So what happened? Oh, Boone, Boone laid into us. Oh, really? How'd that go? And he's got to hear about it third hand. It's insane. I've never heard of such a thing in my life. You don't have closed door meetings without one of your best players there. And also probably going to talk to him ahead of time to make sure that they're like, okay, I'm going to go in on this. Need your guys' support. Need you to crawl, jump on the back of some of the things we're saying. It's crazy. It's crazy. And yes, it's out of touch. And, one would say not good communication.
I don't know why he didn't just wait until Saturday morning to have the thing. It's like you just got crushed on Friday night, go home, sleep it off, come back the next day. You got a day game. Cole's going to be on the mound. It's a beautiful day in New York City. Let's have the rah-rah speech at like 11:15 in the morning on Saturday when everybody, including the starting pitcher for the day, is there.
I will say it's very difficult to have one of those emotional speeches. It's not really a rah-rah. It's probably just very highly emotional at that point. You can't really you just table it for the next day. It's like us recording after a World Series or a World Series, like that's happened in a long time, a playoff loss, right? Because we do it after every playoff. To capture the emotion of that game on the next day is very difficult. To capture it immediately
not about
after
the emotion of the loss. That's not what he's doing. I mean,
that's what set it off. Clearly, he's an emotional guy.
That was an emotional loss on Friday. The game was over 20 minutes into the game. They were losing 7-0 in the second inning.
Yeah, it was embarrassing. It was an embarrassing moment.
You had Johnny Brito on the mound. Of course you were going to get embarrassed. The Red Sox have embarrassed you all year.
Point is this guy has no idea on how to get the pulse of this team at all. Like the timing is off. He does it when he wants to, does it when he doesn't have the best players who, up until Saturday were performing for the most part. It's just weird. It's just weird.
And so he showed up the next day and was like, yeah, the turnaround's coming, because he probably felt really good about his speech on Friday night.
Yeah.
He went home. He went home.
Really good, guys. Guys, it was really good. It was really good.
I driving home to Greenwich, Connecticut on Friday night.
I can't wait to tell Garrett about the meeting and how well it went.
Why didn't he FaceTime him in or something?
Yeah, something. Hey, Garrett, I'm about to have a really emotional discussion with the team. Would love for you to at least FaceTime it. Here's my other question. How many other people were gone? How many other people? Was he yelling at Ben Rortvet and like
Rortvet and Higgy
and Volpe's just sitting there like a shell-shocked little teenager, and Josh Donaldson might still be in the somewhere like smoking a cigarette. It's crazy.
Loizaga's there just taking a shower. Oh, what's he saying?
Yeah, what's that guy's? Is he talking again? Time to hit the shower. How many guys were in the shower and not in the room? There's probably 10 people in the room when he did this thing. Closed doors so nobody could see how many people were there and what their reactions were.
Closed door because no one was there. It was just
closed door because it was Aaron yelling at the mirror.
Another thing that he revealed, I think this was Sunday morning. Apparently, Boone has met with the front office, and they are frustrated with the team's struggles. Oh, good to know. After they're now 60 and 64 on August 21st, that the front office is frustrated with the struggles. And he didn't say what happened in the meeting, but I was listening to the pregame on radio yesterday, and Susan was talking about this, and she said that they discussed when is the right time to bring up, players from the minors to try and give this team a spark.
2 weeks ago.
Well, and then Susan said, but that would also be a message to fans that they are giving up if they call up kids. And I think that's the complete opposite. Just trotting out the same crap every day is a message to fans. We're giving up. This is not working.
Complacency is giving up. Complacency and doing the same goddamn thing over and over again, that's giving up. You give me a fresh look. Give me a different thing. Give me a little bit of a revamped roster with some youthful exuberance. Oh, maybe something can happen then. Maybe something can happen. There's hope. There's actually a glimmer of hope with that.
Even if it's 1%, trying something different is trying. That is something to watch. That is something to get excited about. There is nothing to get excited about with this team right now. And of course I know they're not going to make the playoffs, but I'm sorry. Now is the opportunity to call up some of these players from the minors and get them some action at the major league level. Because Giancarlo Stanton, who's now hitting below 200, what's the point of putting him out there every day for the rest of the season? What is the point of trotting out half of these players at this point? There is 0 point. Judge, Judge is still playing well. He's got the best statistics on the team.
He's playing okay.
He's playing okay, but even if his foot is only 99% healthy, rest him the rest of the way and get his toe and everything right.
It's also, for the record, not 99%. He's probably playing at 75%. The guy needs to be shut down. I mean, just all they're doing right now is risking a prolonged injury for their franchise player that they have locked up for the rest of his career.
But for nothing, this year's over.
What are we possibly doing? Yes, 2 weeks ago I was saying this. Shut him down. Bring the kids up.
2 weeks ago there was still. 2 weeks ago there was a glimmer of hope. Like, if we turn,
there was never a glimmer of hope, really, because this team was who they were.
But I agree. But had the team turned it around 2 weeks ago, they could be in the hunt right now. But now it's impossible. It's
Let me ask
almost
you a question.
mathematically impossible.
Did they have a better chance of bringing up some kids and doing the things? And maybe you're not sitting Aaron Boone at that or Aaron Judge at that time, but you have an opportunity.
Sure, of course.
Maybe then you'd be into it. But now even that is too late. I mean, you're buried at this point. It's done. It's over, kid. It's like you can't do it. You can't even sniff it. Even if you went on a massive hot streak, you're screwed.
Right, exactly. So I agree. And like that at bat, not again, let me preface this for the 50th time, whether the Yankees won or lost on Sunday means dick to the rest of the season. But the fact that that game on Sunday felt like final destination of losing, that no matter what the Yankees did, they were just going to find a way to lose that game. And in the ninth inning, you've got two on, and you've got Judge and Glaber coming up, and they both strike out. Judge's at bat was just awful. Off balance on 2 off-speed pitches, and then takes a close strike 3. He complained about the strike 3 call. Was it a ball? Was it a strike? I don't know. That was an awful at-bat, Aaron Judge. Glaber Torres follows it up with striking out. And then you've got Ben Rortvedt. Everything's left to Ben Rortvedt at that moment. Like, yep, game's over there. You needed a hit from Judge or Glaber or both to end the losing streak. Again, not that it would have mattered, but you still needed your guys to show up in that moment, and they couldn't.
Yeah. I mean, again, he's playing on one leg, essentially, 1 foot, and they didn't show up. And the other thing about that game is that there's an emotional charge because they came back, multiple times. Volpe with the massive home run, like there's an emotional charge. You could make an argument that you win that game, like feels like a catalyst, feels like something. See, hey, look, it's around the corner. We show up. It's right in front of us. We took it, and they came back multiple times. But no, the final destination. The end was already written, and they were going to lose that game. And then you have the play at the plate, which, again, like not going to get caught up in safe or out because it was so damn close. But according to the letter of the law, the play should have stood, right? Like it should have stood because of the call on the field, and that was it. Like it was, you couldn't see conclusive evidence even on the still shots of if his cleat was in there or not, but they called them safe, and it was so bang bang that they should have kept it. Either way, Yankees are screwed. And I'm, at this point, like after Garrett Cole's outing over the weekend, I had a tweet and I didn't even send it because I don't know, I got distracted, but it was like appreciation tweet to Garrett Cole for doing everything in his possible power to get rid of Aaron Boone. Thank you. That's what it felt like.
You think he
yeah, I think he's in on it because he's like, oh, you're going to
is that why Judge struck out? Is that why Judge struck out?
Yeah, I think there's a thing. So we can look at it that way. You're going to have a team meeting without me? Watch this. Watch this.
Yeah, watch this, which was yet another stinker by Garrett Cole against the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, remember his record against the Boston Red Sox when he came into the Yankees?
So
the AL East?
He is now with the Yankees pitching against Boston 5-4 with a 5.16 ERA and 68 innings pitched, and he's allowed at least 1 home run in all but 1 of 11 starts against the Red Sox.
It's not great.
No, it's not great. He had some weird quotes after the game. He said they are major league quality hitters and they put together some excellent at bats. Urias just demolished a slider just right there on the corner, down and away. Beautiful pitch, better swing. Yeah. Then he said, I don't recall experiencing anything like this before in my career. Is he talking? I don't know. Was he referring to his struggles against Boston? No. Or was he talking about struggles?
They were talking about, I watched that interview. They were the context was the team.
Okay.
The team of, and that's when they were like, oh, so the Aaron Boone had his close over, and he's like, guys, I wasn't here for that. I already left.
So also in the inning in which Connor Wong hit a home run off of Cole, I forget that was the 3rd or the 4th inning, he took a 2-strike slider just off the corner. That was a great pitch. It was definitely a ball, but that's like 2 strikes. Like Cole nailed his spot. Like you could see Cole was frustrated. Like, why didn't you swing at that? And then Cone said the takes are too good. And I don't know, that perked my ears up. I'm like, is Cone suggesting that Cole is tipping or that Boston has some sort of no on him? Because he said the takes being too good means you're the hitter's in your brain or knows what's coming. That's what that means. And he said Cole's extremely frustrated. And then later in that bat, I think 2 pitches later, Wong hits a home run to right field. And so like that one, I don't know if he talked about that. I don't think I could not find any comments about that after the game, but that kind of caught my ear.
Yeah, I don't know. Cone's probably just. I can't imagine that anything like that's happening with Cole at this point, but at the same time, Cora is one of the best at that. He knows how to find little things, and he knows how to get his guys to find little things. So there could have been something, but yeah, Cone does make comments about that quite a bit when guys are struggling. So it's a strange thing to say from him. But I didn't see anything. I don't know. I didn't hear anybody talking about anything. It's not like, I think he just had a bad day. And Cole even said, like one of my favorite quotes was when he's like, "It was a beautiful pitch," because he was it was a beautiful pitch. It's like, I couldn't have done it any better. I executed the pitch, and he put a great swing on it and just beat it. And sometimes you just get beat. That was the tone that I got from him from that whole little question Q&A.
Sure. And who knows? Like you said, Cole might be in on it.
Cole might be in on it, yeah, which is great. Just get rid of Aaron Boone, please. At least at the bare minimum. Can we look at someone different? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it.
Well, something not to get rid of is AG1, which is all of your key health products in one. AG1 is loaded with 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source ingredients, probiotics, and adaptogens. It promotes good gut health with pre- and probiotics, gives you better sleep quality and recovery, and allows you to focus throughout the day. And not in the way that you will crash, because AG1 contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no chemicals, or artificial flavoring. The best part is they make it super easy for you to build into your daily routine. It's delivered right to your door on a monthly basis or at whatever your preferred cadence is. They send you a nice little bottle, storage container, and a scoop. Each serving costs less than $3, and all you have to do is add in some water, which is free right from your sink. To try it for yourself, go to drinkag1.com/pinstripes, and you will also get a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs. Again, drinkag1.com/pinstripes to get that awesome deal. Boone also said after Saturday's game that the IKF bunt, which turned into a pop-up double play, was a smart play. He said third baseman was playing back. We needed a little spark. He was bunting for a hit there. Just didn't work out. And they also had a scouting report on Cutter Crawford that he struggles to throw to bases. So they were going to try and make him throw to bases.
Look, I know people were killing that play. I don't mind it, to be honest, because he just didn't execute it. If IKF gets the bunt down there, everybody's like, savvy spot, savvy play, get on base, whatever. Like, nothing's working. Might as well try something different. I really don't have a problem with that play. He just didn't execute it, and it looked bad.
I don't either. I know people were shitting all over that bunt play because you bunt into a double play. It's awful.
But he wasn't. It's not like he was bunting to move a guy, or he was bunting for a base hit. He saw an opportunity, just like slapping a ball through a hole. If you see a guy shading one way, it's like he just didn't execute it. It was poor execution, and so I'm in agreement on that one. I like that play in a moment like that to do anything. Like, I want my team to do different things to try to get on. You got to change things up. You got to try to do things. You got to try to catch people off guard a little bit. But at the same time, maybe this goes back to the practice piece of the fact that this team doesn't, drill in things. They don't situationally. Yeah, they don't try situationally. They don't do those things. And, so the reps of actually executing that are not there. The needed reps are not there to execute such a thing in such a moment.
I'm glad
that's where I go back to Boone. So that's where I go back to Boone.
Yeah, but I mean, Boone is just one coach in the entire system, teaching or not teaching that sort of fundamental.
But he's the man orchestrating the big leagues. He's the man putting the schedule together, or at least overseeing that schedule.
Bunting practice.
He should be making sure that someone's doing bunting practice. Yeah.
Well, don't you remember when he was hitting fungos to them a couple years ago?
Yeah, I do. I'd like getting the pitchers to practice, drill it into the ground, pick it up, throw it to first base. We've had discussions about this, some heated discussions, I think, where you're on the other side of the fundamental piece. I believe that you continuously need to, I always screw up continuously and continually. I don't know which one's right, but over and over again, you need to drill the fundamentals even throughout a season just to get back into the mindset, get back into the headspace of fundamentals win baseball games. And if you don't do that, you're one, not getting the reps, and two, you're not really reinforcing the fact that fundamentals win baseball games, and they do. And it's frustrating.
Well, the frustrating thing is, like, we've been talking about fundamentals since 2018 with this team. That even though 2018, 2019, they won a lot of games, we still saw on the edges of games and in a lot of losses, like, these common threads at why they were losing games. And so fundamentals goes back a while with this roster. And it's not just on the coaching staff. It's also on the players that you fill the roster with. If they are not the type of players that can have good baseball fundamentals, you're going to be left with what you have.
Mm-hmm.
And true. So I also wanted to talk about that front office meeting.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're meeting with Boone kind of has me worried a little bit, right? Like, because if he was going to definitely be fired, wouldn't they just be like, I don't feel like what's the point of talking to him right now? So the fact that they're still talking to him is like that they're all still on the same page. That's kind of
you know how HR goes. You know how HR goes, right? You got to check the box of the things. You got to have the meeting before you have the other meeting before you can actually fire the guy.
Is that the same for a baseball organization? Still got to go through the HR process?
I don't know. Maybe. You know, you don't want to get an employment lawsuit.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's probably
they're worried about money.
They
don't want to get sued because that would be less profits in the Steinbrenner's pockets, which they're clearly concerned about. So you got to make sure you do all the things.
Do you think?
I bet the HR team is tight.
Do you think that the changes that they will pitch us this offseason will be at the minor league level, like more in the line of we're revamping the coaching staffs throughout the minors, preaching fundamentals, that sort of thing, like getting back to some basics, like versus
they kind of already did that. They kind of already did the whole reshuffling of the minor league coaching staff. It was in a different direction.
Well, they did it with Dylan Lawson when he was hired. When was Dylan Lawson hired? 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, I want to say 2 years ago.
And like what that kid Ben Ruda was talking about is like Dylan Lawson's influence on hitting throughout the minors has been felt, and it was the pitchers versus hitters, just hit the ball 95 miles an hour or walk. Don't worry about moving a runner or hitting a sac fly or getting a bunt down. That shit doesn't matter.
Right.
Did you hit a line drive? Oh, it happened to be caught. Doesn't matter. You won the at bat.
I don't know, man, because if they start going and it's an about face, it's not. No, I don't know what the message is going to be. It's going to be.
Also, another thing that annoyed me is like that clip that we put out of me yelling about how the Yankees in the analytics era have not developed any major league hitters. People took that to mean that like I'm anti-analytics. Like I'm not anti-analytics. Like obviously people who are watching that clip probably have not listened to the show for years and years to know that I'm not anti-analytics at all. It's just the Yankees seemingly have not been able to find a balance between analytics and old school. Like they're instead of using analytics to inform decisions, they're just making decisions based on analytics and spitting in the face of everything else and ignoring other things that are important in baseball. And we've seen organizations that have success in recent years. Do they have analytics departments, and do they use analytics to make decisions? Of course, but they also have the other things, and unless you have both, you're not going to be good enough.
No, it's true. They haven't found the way to blend any of the new things to marry them in with baseball, the actual game of baseball, and they're so far behind on that I whatever their messaging is and whatever revamp they're going to do, it can't be from the same people orchestrating the plan. That's the problem. And that's why it doesn't matter. It's a lot of lip service from the same folks. Doesn't mean shit to me. Doesn't mean anything to me because you don't see the vision. You don't see that grand plan. You've proven that you can't see that grand plan and how it can be implemented to affect organizational changes in a positive way. We've gone down that road before. So I don't want that same revamp of system. Let's just kick a reset button, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work that way.
Right. Well, I want to spend the last few minutes talking about what we would like to see, maybe some minor leaguers getting called up. But first, I want to tell you guys about Game Time. If you want to go to a Yankees game, I can't even say that with a straight face for the rest of the year, I definitely recommend using Game Time, which is our preferred ticketing app because it is the easiest way to buy tickets to whatever you want to go to, sporting events, concerts, comedy shows, theater, and much, much more. The app has so many cool features and is easy to use. It shows you trending tickets, what sections the best deals are in, calls out cheap options and flash deals, and so much more so you can make an informed purchase. There's also event cancellation protection so you can buy with confidence. Some reasons why I love using Game Time is because of the images that they show you of your seats before you buy. The buying process is fast, just 2 taps and you're done. And then the tickets go directly to your phone so you don't have to dig through your email to find them. You can snag tickets today without stress using Game Time. Download the app, create an account, and use code BRONX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Once again, download the app, create an account, use code BRONX for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Minor leaguers that we could see called up. Because why not? Right? First of all, I don't understand why Peraza is not up and just playing third base every day at this point.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Because then you could have just DJ go slide over to first and just play there.
And IKF can continue to be a utility player, which she's been fine at this year. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like, I don't know what their long-term plans are for Peraza. I mean, clearly he does not have the same prospect cachet on the trade market that maybe we all thought, and certainly that Volpe had, because I think Volpe was always the first player other teams asked for and not Peraza. So at this point, his best value to you would be hopefully he can play some baseball at the major league level. So let's find that out. Let's give him 4 at-bats a night for the rest of the season playing third base. What do we have to lose?
It's correct. That's the move they need to do. And if they need to reshuffle things, because I know one of the guys that we're about to talk about is Austin Wells, and he's not on the 40 man. Let me give you a couple scenarios here. Okay, so we got Luis Severino, DFA him. Why? Clear. There's a 40 man spot. What's the point? You're not going to re-sign him. Doesn't do anything for you right now. What's the point? No point. That's one guy. Greg Weissert. Why? What? Clear space on the 40 man.
Why?
And put Austin Wells on there. You're going to have to protect Austin Wells anyway. So He's going to be on the 40 man. You just do it now. Okay. Greg Weissert has come up and down a billion times. Greg Allen, DFA him. Yeah. DFA Greg Allen.
Well, he did almost hit a home run last night to tie the game.
Horseshoe hand grenades, DFA him. Plenty of guys to play outfield. One of them actually will be coming up because he's also another gentleman that we're going to speak about here. DFA him. Get Austin Wells on the 40 man. There's multiple avenues to this. So if anybody ever says that, it's lunacy. So yes, they need to bring the kids up. They need to see what they have.
You could also shut down Aaron Judge, put him on the 60-day IL, and that opens up another spot for you. So Pereira, who for 2 weeks now we thought is going to get called up, is on the 40-man roster. Would love to see him just playing the outfield every single day. He's been tearing it up at both AA and AAA this year. Austin Wells, like you spoke about. I mean, Higgy and Rortvet, I don't need to see that the rest of the way. Let's get Austin Wells some reps behind the plate. Maybe he can have a nice little back and forth with Garrett Cole, and that can be some nice things to look forward to next year. Again, what do you have to lose? Maybe Garrett Cole doesn't want to do that because he doesn't want to lose out on his Cy Young. But you know what, Garrett, play the long game here. He had 7 RBIs on Sunday, and the Yankees have 8 RBIs from their catching unit basically all month.
That's a great stat. It's a sad, depressing stat, but it's a great pull from whoever pulled that out. It's a good one.
Andres Chaparro, another guy that would need to be added to the 40-man roster. I don't know who they would call up on the pitching front. There's no one that's like really stand out that would be like dying to get up here. Will Warren, Clayton Beater, two names to look out for, but Pereira, Wells, Peraza, Chaparro. What are we waiting for on those guys? Like, get them some major league experience. That's what bad teams do at the end of the year. Teams that are not in the playoffs, they get their minor leaguers some experience at the end of the year because that goes a long way towards the future. That's the situation you are in, Yankees.
You're also clearing a little space in AAA to move guys up from AA so that they can get that done too. So that little check mark, that little box is checked as well. So you're moving things around. You're essentially elevating the system by opening up spots in the major leagues and in AAA, and it will trickle down. So yeah, you're able to actually see a little bit more development up and down the organizational minor league roster. I don't know. I don't know what's stopping them from doing it at this point. Nothing should be stopping them from doing it at this point.
Because isn't didn't last week mean the like rookie eligibility is no longer a factor as well because of the number of days left in the season? So that's
I believe
also out the window.
We were talking about that before the podcast, and I was talking about the expansion of rosters, but I believe you're right. That's the piece where, because Cabrera came up last year around that time as well. Once it was no longer hurting them in service time. So yes, there's no reason whatsoever. And Pereira is lighting it up. So can we just find out if he's a 4A guy or he's an actual major leaguer right now, please? That would be nice to know.
Or even if he struggles, then that struggles can also be a positive, because we've seen guys struggle and then
they'll go outside the organization and fix their swing.
Aaron Judge came up in 2016 and struggled. Okay, I know he hit a home run in his first ever at bat, but go look at his numbers the rest of the way before he got hurt. Awful. Then he fixed himself. So let's call up Pereira. Maybe he'll struggle and then go fix himself in the offseason.
Yeah, Judges needs to start an outside clinic for how to fix your hitter, your batting, and bring his boy Hitterman in to fix everybody. You should just make him the batting coach.
Yeah, fire Sean Casey, shut down Judge for the rest of the season, call up some kids, and let Judge be the hitting coach for September.
Yeah, he's got nothing else. That would be good bonding experience.
Who should be the manager? Who should be the manager the rest of the way? Because obviously Boone gets fired. So who do you want to see the managers the rest of the way?
This is a good one. I would like to see. I feel like Higgy could has a different level. I feel like Higgy has another like managerial type thing. That's not the greatest answer. You're calling me out on this one. I feel like I'm choking a little bit, but I could see.
Well,
Higgy,
you know what they should do?
Sometimes I see Higgy light up a little bit. I'm like, there's something there. He's a cerebral guy. Like I could see him. He's got good relationships across the board. I could see him doing a good job. And catchers, default to a catcher when you want a good manager.
Yeah, not a third baseman. So you know how you go to a stadium and then they'll just announce, like, if you're in section 227, row 5,
you're the manager of the New York Yankees.
You got upgraded to legends. No. You got upgraded to the dugout. You're going to manage today. Why not? Let's have some fun.
Yeah. That'd be fun, Sean Casey,
and then on road games,
some tirades.
On road games, they can just let ChatGPT manage the team.
I mean, I think that's what's been happening for the past 3-4 years, actually.
All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap up today's show. A little bit of a shorter one because the Nationals, believe it or not, are closer to a playoff spot than the Yankees.
That's nice. This is the point where it's
they're
like
in the hunt.
This is, it's bad when you get to like the delusion point, because you're not even mad anymore. You're not. There's no like negativity in your or skepticism necessarily in your voice and your tone. It's just like it's gotten to the point where it's beyond that, and it's hilarious. It's comical. It's a fucking joke, and that's bad. That's bad when you get to that point, because that means you've gone to the other side of emotional caring and emotional response to how somebody is playing. We just got swept by the Boston Red Sox on at the end of August.
The Red Sox have spanked them all season.
But the tone right
Boston?
there, like that is just a microcosm of the fan base of how things are. You've gotten to that point now where you're no longer even disappointed. You're just like, of course, like this is ridiculous. And the fact that the front office and the Yankees organization can't feel that's a problem. It's a real problem. And it bothers me.
Yeah. Sunday's loss, I was not emotionally upset about because, again, the season is over. And once the season is over, like, you can't get emotionally upset about a single
Yeah.
loss anymore. I was amazed at that loss. That was a truly stunning loss, that how many times they came back, the positions they were in to take the lead, the play at home plate, and then the ninth inning, how that all went down. And the difference between the two offenses in basically the same situation, first and second, nobody out, and how the Red Sox executed to score a run, first and second, nobody out, and how the Yankees, with Judge and Glaber coming up, your two best offensive players right now this season, could not execute to score a run. Like, that's all you need to see if you're wondering why the Yankees are what they are. Look at the lack of execution from their offense.
Yeah. No, it's bad, man. Anyway, sorry. That was a little ending little ending tirade. Emotionally disconnected.
Final question for you. When the Yankees start to struggle, we know what happens. They start to do some reunions, some ceremonies, some number retirements to put asses in seats. We're going to have the core four, including Derek Jeter at Old Timers Day this year. So, what is the next Yankee that probably shouldn't have his number retired will get his number retired so they can sell some tickets and sell some merch? I have some candidates for you. Will it be CC Sabathia, number 52, CC Sabathia? Will it be Brett Gardner, number 11, Brett Gardner? So Volpe would need to take a new number. Just give him number 73 or something. Will it be Hideki Matsui, number 55? It used to be Domingo Germán, who disgraced the number 55, and then Germán disgraced the number 0. So let's like wash all the bad out and maybe retire Godzilla's number 55. Will it be Mike Messina, number 35, if memory serves me right? Or will it be David Cone, number 32? 36? 36 for David Cone.
36.
Yeah. Who's
Matsui
it going
to Matsui
or
feels
someone,
right.
someone else.
No, I like
Matsui.
the Matsui. Wash the stink off the number. Wash the stink off the number. You know, what do you think of when you think of Matsui? I think of postseason. I think of executing in big moments.
Epic porn collection.
Yeah, the guy checks a lot of boxes in that regard, and yes, it brings the number back up to a good place, not a bad place. So
just happy
ding,
memories,
ding.
generally
Hideki
happy
Matsui.
memories.
Genuinely happy memories, yeah. Yeah.
I actually do think Sabathia's number will get retired once he goes into the Hall of Fame, because I do think CC Sabathia is a Hall of Famer. So I think we'll see CC's number retired in a few years from now. I don't expect any of those other guys' numbers to be retired, but if I had to choose one, it would be Hideki Matsui, even though, again, he does not deserve his number retired, but he did win World Series MVP. So why not? Let's do it. All right. That's going to wrap up today's show. Next episode, we don't know who the guest is going to be. It'll be somebody. It's not going to be Scott and I talking about this national series, because no one wants to listen to that, whether they sweep or get swept. So stay tuned for a guest on that episode, and we will continue to plow on, because that is our character, Scott. We have not missed a week of doing this podcast since 2015. So I think our character is pretty well established. We are grinders, and we show up.
We do. Painful, not painful. I haven't really had too many happy moments in general with this team since we've started podcasting, but yeah, we will grind on. And hopefully the Yankees will join us and revamp the entire team on the organizational side from a management perspective and coaching and the whole deal. Philosophy, GM. Someone said something about Hal Steinbrenner getting going yesterday. They were fucking with me, but I was like, "Oh, what happened? Is he really?" Because it's the only way a regime change is going to be if something unfortunate happens. So let's see something new. See something new.
All right. And on that note, we'll talk to you guys soon.